Live from Schellenberger Field, you're watching Women's College Lacrosse on LHSN as the Lynchburg Hornets play host to the number 16 team in the country, York College of Pennsylvania. York looking to maintain that rank as the number 16 squad in the country, coming off a loss to number 5, Franklin and Marshall, looking to get back on track. And on the other side, Lynchburg looking to stay perfect on the season, improve to 4-0, and make it consecutive weeks with a win at home. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. TJ Winger here with you. Take you through all the action in a moment. We'll show you some of the pregame stats coming into this contest. It's actually the first all-time meeting between these two teams, and I'm really excited to see it first and foremost. And it's also a battle between long-term head coaches for their respective programs, Jen Mustin for York and Bruce Reed for Lynchburg. Welcome into the press box, everybody. Excited to bring you this game. We'll talk about the coaches a little bit more, and we'll talk about some of the numbers in this contest in just a moment. But as I said, York looking to avenge the loss against Franklin and Marshall, 15-9 loss for the Spartans. Meanwhile, most recently for Lynchburg, it was a win last week, 14-5, taking down Southern Virginia. Let's show you some of those stats coming into today's game. For the most part, the sample size for both sides are relatively small, so the numbers may not tell the true story for each team, but relatively even across the board. The big disparity really is shot on goal percentage, and if that trend continues today, where York's having a hard time getting it on frame, if Lynchburg continues their success in that category, you might have a chance for the Hornets to pull off the upset and take down the Spartans. Lots of talented players to talk about. Let's jump into our players to watch, starting with the visiting Spartans. Chloe McDonald has been stellar so far this season, 7 goals and an assist. IWLCA, second team All-Metro in the region last year, first team All-MAC Commonwealth last year. And on the other side, Lily Dumas out to a hot start as well. 6 goals to go along with a team best 4 assists for the grad student hailing from Maine. And we talked about the coaches a moment ago. Jen Mustin in her 15th year leading this York program, opposite of Bruce Reed in his 20th season, leading the Lynchburg Hornets. Opening draw control, won by Tori King. She had 5 on this season prior to today. Now she's got number 6, and she'll bring it into the attacking third, and it'll be Lynchburg with the first offensive possession in and out of the stick of Alla Daniel, junior from Salem, Virginia. Also has 5 draw control wins this season. Hornets on the year averaging 15 goals a game, a little more than 43 shots per contest, and the offense was certainly put on display a week ago. 14-5 win over Southern Virginia and dominated in regards to shots. Time of possession, shots on goal, you name it. If there was an offensive category, it was in favor of Lynchburg. Behind the net, bringing it around, this is Michelle Perkins. She had an assist last week against the Knights. Santora gets it out. This is now Leah Dumas, our player to watch for Lynchburg. Dumas trying to work right, finds Santora. First shot of the day, finds the back of the net. Nikki Santora with her 9th score on the year, and that opens our scoring. Just over a minute into today's play. Lynchburg out in front, 1-0.
Scoring the Lynchburg goal, number 16, Nikki Santora.
Santora had 40 goals last year, good for top 10 inside the ODAC. And now she has number 9 on this season, and the first of her afternoon, getting the best of the starting keeper for York. Riley DeFury, senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, had 11 saves in the season opening win against Washington, 4 against free position opportunities. So this is a more than capable starting keeper for the Spartans. So a really solid start today for Lynchburg, getting out in front, leading 1-0. DeFury also tabbed as MAC Commonwealth Defensive Player of the Week after the win against Washington to boost her resume just a little bit more. Another draw control opposite of Tori King, by the way, is Chloe McDonald. And McDonald not only wins possession for the Spartans, picks up the ground ball, and now it's York moving into the attacking third. McDonald drives in, picked up by Dumas, now back behind the net. This is Gigi Hewitt, a freshman from Manchester, Massachusetts. Shot, save, rebound opportunity. McDonald responds after Santora opens our scoring, and just like that, it's tied up 1-1. The initial shot came from Teresa Mathias. There was a nice save coming from Lynchburg starting keeper Patricia Rogers, her 16th on the season. But in lacrosse, you give up these second chance opportunities, they will come back to hurt you more often than not, and that is certainly the case here as McDonald gets her 8th goal of the season, first on the afternoon. And 91 seconds into today's contest, We are tied up 1-1. And we will see King opposite of McDonald once more. When it comes to the draw control category, we showed you that stat at the top of the broadcast, but Lynchburg averaging 10 draw control wins so far this season, and York reaching 14.5, and obviously those DCs are very impactful in dictating who's going to control possession. As the Hornets look for the upset, it's obviously going to be a key part to their potential upset bid. Draw control won by King. She picks up the ground ball. Swings it over to Ala Daniel. Working to her left. Daniel sends it open over the top post. It's going to stay with Lynchburg. Pass intended for Derek Gregory, senior from Salisbury, Maryland. Cut. Nice find. Better save for DeFury. Shot comes from Mia Sullivan. Her 10th on the season. Hornets get it back, however, and we'll see if they're able to replicate the second chance success that we saw from York about a minute ago. Perkins brings it around. A goal and assist so far this year for the sophomore. Picked up by Riley Roeder, senior from Pennsylvania. Dumas, the step on her defender, Emmy Bryden. Whistle blown. Clock stops with 12:31 to play in the first. This sets up a free position for Lynchburg, and Dumas, if she takes, has a chance for goal number 7 of the year. See the contact from Bryden to Dumas. As the free position just gets started. Another whistle. Let's do it again. Dumas in front of DeFury. Dumas will take the shot. Save for DeFury. Loose ball. Still live on the turf. Now picked up by DeFury. Talking more about the senior. Talking about being tabbed as the reigning Commonwealth Defensive Player of the Week. Spartans talking about the MAC Conference. Picked to finish second in this year's preseason poll. Trailing just Messiah. Messiah getting 7 of the 9 first place votes. York getting the other 2. Talking more about Messiah. That's who took down York in the MAC title game a season ago. Nice spin. Shot goes off the right post. Nice move from Sally Arthur, creating some space. Second chance, taking the rip. Jenna Cholowinski, senior from Farmingdale, New Jersey. Her first look on net. Another nice save coming from Patricia Rogers. Freshman stepped into the immediate starting role. Save percentage now up and over 54% on the season. Here Rogers looking for help. Flung towards midfield. First time calling out Madison Knight, senior from Clayton, Delaware. Knight runs into a swarm of green jerseys, sends it back to Micah Slacum. Slacum alongside Jordan Nielsen and Dylan Satterfield. Just a couple of players that make up that back line and may not get mentioned a whole lot in the lacrosse broadcast, but they do a whole lot to try to anchor that Lynchburg defense. Cholowinski just had a shot a moment ago. She'll pass it off, gets it behind the net. Hewitt. Picked up by the aforementioned Nilsson. Arthur, first team All-Metro last year, first team All-MAC Commonwealth as well. She had a couple of scores against Franklin and Marshall. Loose ball rolls all the way to the near sideline, picked back up by Arthur. 2 goals and an assist so far this season. Pass goes right in front of the net. Shot, score. This time it's Madison Kurland finishing the play and making it 2-1. Spartans out in front. 4th goal of the season for the sophomore, hailing from York, Pennsylvania, hometown product. Here's another look at the score one more time, and with Knight hitting the turf on the play,
Scoring for York, number 7, Madison Kurland.
it was a point-blank shot for Kurland in the face of Rogers, and in that spot it is nearly impossible for a keeper to try to come up with a stop. Elise Henderson will take the draw control chance. And it'll be Chloe McDonald still for York. On the sideline, getting some attention from the athletic trainers is Leah Dumas. Hopefully be able to see her come back in for Lynchburg. Didn't see any limp as she worked towards the track. Hopefully all is well. 10:15 to play in the first quarter. Henderson wins the draw control, had it poked away then. Bryden gathers the ground ball. She had 9 coming in today. York back into the attacking third, looking to double their ledger this possession. Arthur tracking to her right. Pass it off to McDonald. Tries to drive right. Defended by Peyton Sawville. Shot. Score. York pushes the lead to 3-1. Second on the afternoon for McDonald. Ninth goal of the season for McDonald. Here it is one more time. Blink and you'll miss it. Spin move. Not necessarily a whole lot of space for McDonald to work with, but talking about one of the best players not only in the MAC Commonwealth Conference, but just across the D3 landscape. And she will take advantage of whatever window you give her. Next goal for McDonald will put her into double figures. This is just game 3 of the season for York. You can see why Spartans ranked as the number 16 team in the country. And they lost to Messiah last year in the MAC title game. Messiah was the number 17 team in the country. So you can see those two very even in a lot of ways, not only within their own conference, but also in the national landscape. If you're a Spartans fan, I'm sure that's the game year in and year out. You're circling on your calendar and saying, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing that day, I need to watch this game. Ground ball picked up by Kirsten Blanchard, junior. 3 goals, 2 assists against Washington. Part of the season opening 15-7 win. Arthur sends it in front of the net. Pass broken up. Intended target was Blanchard. The Hornets get a much-needed stop. Chance to cut the deficit in half. Slacum carries forward. Finds Knight. Gets it across midfield. Now backtracks. Slacum swings over to Jordan Nilsson, senior from Easton, Maryland. Nice passing sequence into the attacking third. This is Carly Hughes carrying. Driving right down Broadway. Now forced to kick it back out. Finds Henderson, sophomore from North Carolina. In and out of the stick of Sawville. Getting it back. On a sophomore drive. Shot, score! Just over the right shoulder of DeFury. Lynchburg makes it 3-2. Third goal of the year for Peyton Sawville. Her first on the afternoon.
Scoring.
And a nice recovery. Couldn't handle the pass initially, but got a step on her defender. That's Tiffany Lee trying to keep up with Sawville, but strong burst towards net. Nice finish. Over the shoulders to Fury, as I mentioned. 8:26 to go in the first quarter. 5 scores between the two teams. Lynchburg certainly putting up a good fight. In-state top 16 team in the country. And Lynchburg, in the early goings of last season, had a stretch of 4 consecutive games against ranked opponent. And those in games 2 through 5 last year. And that came against number 25 St. Mary's, number 14 Mary Washington, number 25 CNU, then number 3 Washington and Lee as the draw control has the ball in play. Sawville trying to get possession back to the Hornets instead. Whistle blown. It'll go against Lynchburg. Bryden moves forward with plenty of steam. In that stretch of 4 consecutive ranked opponents last year for Lynchburg, it was a win. That came against number 14 Mary Washington in double overtime. So the Hornets, no stranger to taking on some of the best in the country. Trying to find Sally Arthur. Pass broken up. Nilsson. Nelson then loses it. Arthur getting it back for York. Poked away for a moment. Patricia Rogers comes out from the net. Trying to gather the ground ball. Arthur maintains possession and now has Chelowinski getting the offense into motion. McDonald to Blanchard. Spins right. Blanchard in the face of a plethora of Lynchburg defenders, able to maintain possession. Whistle on the play. This becomes a free position for the Spartans. Blanchard 5 goals, 2 assists this season. She'll take on Rogers. And she's able to finish. Spartans make it a 4-2 game. Goal number 6 in the season for Blanchard. And York doing a good job taking advantage of the free position. They're first on the day. Spartans now 1 for 1. On the other side, Lynchburg 0 for 1. Those free position opportunities are so important as you see 20th year head coach Bruce Reed looking for winning season number 14 in a row with Lynchburg. And there's Blanchard coming off her 6th goal of the season. She didn't start in the win against Washington, then moved in the starting 12 against Franklin and Marshall. And back into the starting lineup this afternoon. King versus McDonald. McDonald had it for a moment. After losing it, regains possession. Swings it to the far side on a hop. Reaches Madison Hamilton. I think that's Sarah Christensen. Christensen with the pass forward. Riley Roeder. And Roeder has it all the way onto the far sideline. Sally Arthur picked up by Salville. Nowhere for Arthur to go. Nice pass. Better save for Rogers. Logan Ward was standing all by herself in front of the freshman keeper for Lynchburg. Shot from point-blank range, and you see kind of the instincts it takes to be a collegiate level starting keeper. And again, I know I've mentioned that Rogers is a freshman, but really is impressive how well she's played in the early goings this season. Despite today becoming just game number 3 that she's played in. Keep in mind, Lynchburg 3-0 in the year, 1-0 in conference play. That's due to Eastern Mennonite forfeit. So, record-wise, this is game 4, but true games played, this is number 3 of the year for the Hornets and under Patricia Rogers' belt in her collegiate career. Sullivan over to Daniel. Dumas regathers after not being able to control the pass initially. Dumas works to her right. Finds Santor, shot, skipped in front of DeFury, who's there to make the save. Third save of the day for DeFury. Now York with a chance to respond. Christensen gets it across midfield. We're starting to see a pivot York offensive approach in the latter half of this first quarter. Bringing possession up across the far side of the field. Potential matchup that they like on that side of the turf. Rogers again comes out from between the posts. Last touch by Ward. After York gets a stop on the defensive side, Lynchburg gets one of their own. From Slacum. She has Tori King right at midfield. Parlayed over to Kaylin Satterfield. Satterfield had Sullivan, lost control. Three on three the other way. Arthur in front of Nielsen. Brings it left. Ward behind the back shot, left wide right. Creative opportunity created by the sophomore. But all for naught. Less than 4 to play in the first quarter. Lynchburg's won 7 of the last 9 home games. They're going to make it 8 of their last 10. Schellenberger Field's certainly been kind to the Hornets. That includes that win last year against Mary Washington when the Eagles were ranked as number 14 squad across the country. And it's a beautiful day here in Lynchburg, Virginia. Shot, Dumas finds the back of the net. Nice find for Daniel. She'll get the assist, her second of the season, but Dumas, our Lynchburg player to watch, finds home for the first time today and has goal number 7 on the season. Now a 4-3 game. There's the look from Daniel, the finish from Dumas once more. And just like the scoreboard would show, it's neck and neck statistically to where we are at this point in the game. 4 saves for Lynchburg, 3 for York, 7 shots for the Hornets, 10 currently for the Spartans. Both teams close in shots on goal as well. 8 for York, 6 for Lynchburg. That's an encouraging place to find yourself if you're the Hornets. Taking on a ranked opponent, you're probably seen as the underdog in this one. The longer you hang around and keep it close, cliche says that helps your chances as the underdog. Whistle blown, it'll go against Lynchburg. Possession given to the Spartans, looking to respond. Put the lead back up to 2. Teresa Mathias, a senior from Leonardtown, Maryland. Controlling, and now with Chlewinski, preseason midfielder of the year and first team preseason All-American. Arthur patrols. Shot hits the post. So Mathias taking the rip. Ricochets all the way back out towards the blue line. Chlewinski there to regather. Blanchard over to Mathias. Now with Arthur. Pass intended for Anya Ledowski. excuse me. Nothing doing for the Spartans. With plenty of tempo forward, Slacum brings it all the way to the attacking third. Closest defender is Christensen. Well done for Lynchburg. Now the Hornets have a chance to tie it up 4-all. Lynchburg working around the clock. 50 seconds to work with on the shot clock. Slacum. Santora. No room for the grad student to work with. Foul on the play, stops the clock. 1:23 to go in the first quarter. Free position given to Lynchburg. The Hornets 0 for 1 so far today. Santora. Chance to get goal number 10 of the season if she takes the shot. She will, and she converts. Second of the afternoon for Santora, number 10 on this season. For the Massachusetts native, and Lynchburg ties it up 4 apiece with 1:21 to go in the first quarter. And if Lynchburg wants to come through with the upset bid, free positions are going to be vital. Not only getting them, but converting and burying the looks that you get off of them. Lynchburg now 1 for 2 on those sets. Now we are tied up 4-all. Henderson at midfield for Lynchburg, juxtaposed to McDonald. 4 draw control wins so far for the Spartans, 3 for the Hornets. Ball is up. Won by McDonald. Having to play catch up, and the closest defender there was Saville. It'll slow down McDonald. Forces the pass to Arthur. Arthur marked by Nielsen. The near side. An off sky. Junior from Maryland as well. Third game played this year. Donald works to her right. Finds the net of Rogers. Should say stick. Net might lead you to think that she scored on that play. I apologize. Confusing terminology. Nothing doing for Lynchburg in response, however. 37 seconds and counting to play in the first quarter. Blanchard with a seam. Left the shot high and wide. Spartans keep possession. Hewitt to Blanchard. Let it rip again. Goes lower right corner. This time gets the best of the freshman keeper and makes it 5-4 York back in front. Second of the day for Blanchard. Goal number 7 of the season for the junior from Pasadena, Maryland. It's been a balanced scoring effort so far today for York, and that trend continues. You can see Blanchard sizing up Rogers. She tried to go high right 90 a moment ago. Trying to see where Rogers might be cheating. Saw an opening bottom right corner. Was able to bury it. Spartans back out in front. Now on the sidelines, you see 15th-year head coach Jen Mustin. 34-10. Coach Mustin's record over the last 3 seasons, and it's even more impressive in conference play. How about 12-2? That includes the shortened 2020 COVID season. But if you just want to take her overall tenure with York, 176 wins to 73 losses while going 73-25 in MAC Commonwealth Conference play. Impressive to say the least. Less than 21 seconds to go. Henderson and McDonald once more. Ground ball gathered by Blanchard, who just made it 5-4. Spartans already in the attacking third. Chance to double their advantage. Pass goes up and over the head of Roeder. Instead, shot. It comes from Matthias, save for Rogers. Brings a close to the first 15 minutes of action. Been a fun one so far. 1/4 of the way through. Spartans out in front by 1. 5-4. Your score. Will step aside and come back with the second quarter of action between the Hornets and the Spartans on LHSN.
York 5.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field, the site. Battle between York and Lynchburg. Spartans hold a 1-goal advantage through 15 minutes of play. You're watching this contest on LHSN, and it's TJ Winger here with you to take you through all the action. Give an update on some of the stats and figures through the first quarter of play. 15-8 shot advantage for the Spartans over Lynchburg, and that is certainly something, if you're a York fan, that's the category you're looking at and saying, okay, it's a 1-goal difference for right now, but that category, if it continues to maintain that type of an edge, then the scoring column will follow suit. And it's a 10-7 shot on goal advantage for York as well. And per the live stats, no free position shots for the Spartans, while Lynchburg 1 for 2 on those free position opportunities. And it's 5 saves for the Hornets to 3 for York. Draw control, 6 wins for the Spartans, 3 for Lynchburg. And the final stat I'll catch you up on, ground balls, 11 picked up by York. On the other side, just 5 for Lynchburg. So a lot of those stats will highlight possession, been in the favor of York and 15th-year head coach Jen Mustin. We talked about a little bit before we went to the break. Also won the CAC Conference Tournament in 2019. Picked up 2 wins in the NCAA tournament before falling short to Tufts in the regional championship. And you can't speak high enough about Coach Mustin and what she's done with this York program and put them not only as one of the best teams in their conference, but on the national spotlight. It's McDonald and King at midfield. And it'll be a false start, giving possession to York. Spartans looking to ride the wave of momentum that had to close the first quarter. It was a late score from Blanchard, and then York got possession back. Had a good look just before buzzer center to bring it close to the first set of 15. The shot came from Teresa Mathias, just in case you got up out of your seat a touch too early. Here's Mathias with another shot. It was a nice find from Arthur, but point-blank save for Rogers. And the Forest Virginia native will now start at the possession for the Hornets. Lynchburg looking to improve to 2-0 at home this season. Meanwhile, on the other side, York with a chance to improve 2-0 on the road, which is certainly something coaches will love. Blanchard creates the turnover. 1-on-1 with Rogers. Shot, score, York up by 2. Kirsten Blanchard, her 3rd already today, number 8 of the season. And Chloe McDonald's our York player to watch, but Blanchard has been the star of the show from about midway through the first quarter onward. There, Blanchard creates the stop, generates the scoring look all by her lonesome. Unassisted score makes it 6-4 York out in front. And this becomes a very important draw control for Lynchburg, looking to halt a mini 2-0 run, if you want to call it a run. Spartans are on, but possession is going to become more and more important. If York continues to get looks inside the attacking third and just really control the pace of the game, it's going to be tough for Lynchburg to play catch-up, already down by 2, just under 14 to go in the first half. Hewitt patrols around the net. No assists yet this season for the freshman. Does have a goal that came against Washington. Finds McDonald. 2 goals today. This time McDonald finds the near side post. Ricochets all the way to the near sideline, giving chase. Madison Curlin also found the back of the net today. Picks up the ground ball. And York with a chance. Shot clock at 50. Curlin over to McDonald. Nice deke. Weaving past Dumas as well as King. The shot goes up over the top post and out of play. Whistle on the play. It's going to go against Lynchburg. Clock stops, 13:01. Here's another look. Ultimately, that's just really nice body control, and McDonald selling which way she wants the defender to think she's going to go, and it sets up the free position shot, and McDonald does the rest. Chloe McDonald, senior from Maryland, now into double figures in her goal total. 10 on the season. Her second-team All-Metro honoree last year. And this will lead to a timeout called by Coach Bruce Reed.
Goal scorer York by number
And we'll take this
15,
opportunity for a
Chloe
quick
McDonald.
commercial break. We'll come back and
And it's a timeout, Lynchburg.
talk about 3-0 run put together by York. You're watching this contest on LHSN. This goal from Chloe McDonald led the timeout called by Coach Bruce Reed, which we welcome you back from. 12:58 left to play in the first half, and I do have to correct myself. Per the live stats, so if they're wrong, you can't blame me. So this is a nice fallback for me. That was the second goal of the day for Chloe McDonald. She's now got 9. Meanwhile, it's Kirsten Blanchard with 4 goals today. So she also has 9 scores this season. So I apologize. 4 goals today for Blanchard, just 2 for McDonald. Plenty of lacrosse left to play. And the same could be said for Lynchburg as they find themselves down by 3. Largest deficit today for the Hornets. And like I said last draw control, this one feels really important for Lynchburg to try to stop the bleeding. Tori King picks up the ground ball. Was looking in the direction of Mia Sullivan. Well defended, though, by Riley Roeder. Now the pass goes to Sullivan, mainly from Southbury, Connecticut. Flung all the way over to Alec Daniel. 2 goals, 2 assists this season, 1 coming today. Daniel can't shake Matthias. Kicks it out. Finds Nikki Santora. Has 2 scores today, making up half the offensive production for Lynchburg. One of those 2 coming off a free position. Leah Dumas also found the back of the net. This time the shot left wide left. Possession is going to stay with the Hornets. To start up, this is Michelle Perkins. Looking in front of the net. Sullivan was in the face of DeFury. Instead, pass goes out to Daniel. Kicked over to the far side. This is Dumas. Fakes the wrap around the net. Pass goes to Perkins. Shot clock's at 25. Santora. Marked up by Mia Alvarez. Out to Daniel. Daniel for King. Shot wide left. Rolls out across left end line. Shot clock's down now to 5. Perkins will have to work quick. And Lynchburg will not get a shot off. So the Spartans, on the heels of a 3-0 run, which began with just 20 seconds left on the clock in the first quarter, have certainly laid claim to the momentum. And a chance now to double up the Hornets to make it 8-4. And really what it's come down to is York has won at midfield, both with draw controls but also just picking up ground balls. They've controlled possession, and passing has been crisp. Shot wide. There's Sally Arthur looking to find the back of the net. Spartans maintain possession. Work through about half the shot clock. Trying to find Kurland. Rolls all the way out. Beyond the blue line, picked up by Tiffany Lee, senior from Maryland. Transfer from nationally ranked D2 program in Mount Olive. Former Trojan, now a Spartan. Watches the offensive opportunity in possession come to an early close for York. Lynchburg gets it across midfield quickly. Even numbers Pacing forward, though. So now the Hornets slow the tempo exponentially and will begin to work it around the clock. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, first all-time meeting between these two sides, which is a bit of a rarity. Both teams have been playing for well over 2 decades now, or close to that. Free position. Inbound for York. Or excuse me, Lynchburg. Shot. Back of the net. Fouled by Mia Sullivan. Sullivan goes up and over the right shoulder of DeFury. And a big score there for Lynchburg. Makes it just a 2-goal difference. Take another look. A lot of times you'll see players take a run at the keeper. Sullivan, as soon as the whistle was blown, was loading up and let that one fly with authority. First goal of the season for Mia Sullivan. He's on the sideline. You see assistant coach Eric Holtgreen. And Hornets heading to the sideline. And it'll be Elise Henderson working against Chloe McDonald at midfield. First goal for Lynchburg. Since 1:21 to play in the first quarter. Which roughly equates out to 6-ish minutes of scoreless lacrosse. So a bit of a drought, and York certainly took advantage of it. Found home 3 times during that time span. The Spartans back to the attacking third, where we've seen them for a lot of today's game so far. Arthur looking for Blanchard. Pass broken up. Picked up by Lynchburg. This is Rogers. Able to get it away to Satterfield. Sophomore from Baltimore, Maryland. On the far side. Gets it off to Sullivan. Playing catch-up on the play is Christensen. Slows down the attack just a little bit. Looking for Carly Hughes. Pass off the mark. And as Perkins is the closest Lynchburg player to it, ultimately goes across the end line, and it's back in the hands of the number 16 team in the country. On the near side, Emmy Bryden, first team All-MAC Commonwealth last season. Pass to McDonald, and it ekes its way to the back of the net. Shot was tipped. But nonetheless, McDonald with the hat trick now, and this time I can say it with confidence, her 10th on the season. Nice find for Arthur, and well defended by Madison Knight. Sometimes it pays to be lucky rather than good. And a fortunate roll never hurt anybody, including the Spartans here, as the lead grows back to 3.
Scoring for York, number 15, Chloe McDonald.
Less than 8 minutes to play in the first half. You look at this York squad and how many players I've mentioned. Oh, all conference here, all region there. And Chloe McDonald now has 10 goals in the season. Kristen Blanchard with her next score reaches double digits. All on top of what you get from preseason midfielder of the year, Jenna Jelowinski. I mean, there's talent all across the roster for the Spartans team. And you can see why they're a top 16 team in the country. You can see why this team is going to be dangerous the rest of the way through, not only in conference play, but presumably if the Spartans can make it in the NCAA tournament. Draw control, one for York. Jelowinski brings it into the attacking third, and the Spartans, the goal here would push and have their largest lead of the day at 4. Shot. buried home by Ward. Sophomore from Bel Air, Maryland, makes it 9-5, and York has been really patient throughout the entire game so far,
Scoring for York,
using
number 32,
close to, if not all, of the 90-second shot clock. This time around, Ward had a step on her fender, liked the look, and finished as she was tracking to her left. First goal of the season for Ward. Spartans up by 4 now. And the shot category is starting to grow wider and wider as this game progresses forward. York 24 shots, Lynchburg 11. When it comes to shots on goal, Spartans nearly doubling up Lynchburg in that category, 15-8. See the Lynchburg sideline, and the clipboard for Coach Bruce Reed. If you're a Lynchburg fan, you're hoping there's some fixes to be had, both here with what's left in the first half, but especially once you get to the break, get a chance to reset. Talk about adjustments for the second half of play between these two squads. Draw control becomes a ground ball picked up by Sawville. Sawville found home for the third time this season earlier on in this game. Hughes straight on, facing the net. Finds Henderson. Nice fake. And created some separation with a nifty move, but the shot comes a really nice save for Riley DeFury. And as we talked about, possession has been really controlled. Not single-handedly, but more often than not, it's been York on the offensive side. And because of that, DeFury has become a name you've heard me call out less and less as this game has gone forward. But a big stop there for the senior. Keeps it at 9-5, but Lynchburg will stop on the near sideline. Get possession back, and it's Hughes over to Satterfield, bringing it across midfield. Into the attacking third, or close to it, as the pass was intended to Sullivan, and it will go out of play. Turnover total's been pretty even most of the way through. That becomes the 9th to go against the Hornets. York has 6 turnovers so far. And diving deeper into that, 5 caused turnovers for Lynchburg to just 3 for York. So it's interesting when you add that additional layer to it, cause turnovers. How many of these are generated by the defense versus how many of these are unforced errors? Shot goes off the top post, then picked up by Henderson to continue that point. 5 caused turnovers of the 6 turnovers today for York is saying when Lynchburg's getting a stop, it's created by the Hornets back line and their defense entirely, which is great to say. But then, to continue that point, 9 turnovers for Lynchburg, of which 3 have been credited as caused, as a yellow card is going to be shown. And it goes against Tiffany Lee. It'll be a 2-minute penalty. Prime scoring opportunity. Here's another look at the play that results in the card. Lee sends Sawville down to the turf. Player up advantage for Lynchburg. But around at that point, 9 turnovers today for Lynchburg. Only 3 have been caused, so what that might suggest is the passing just a little off, both in regards to communication, but also the act itself, and just not being pinpoint. Lynchburg couldn't get the shot off right in the face of DeFury. And York wastes no time getting back in the attacking third. Bryden had it. And now it's with Kurland over to McDonald. Spartans slow down the pace. With a little more than 4 minutes to go in the first half. Ward trying to work left. Was defended by Slacum. Santora, the defender, against Chelowinski. Shot clock at 15 now. So Klugel, first time calling out the freshman from Fairfax, Virginia. Gets all the way to the right end line. Whistle blown once more. Clock stops with 3:30 to go in the second quarter. Shot clock's now down to 2. And a whistle with just 1 second left on the shot clock sets up a free position for York. And that one certainly hurts Lynchburg on the defensive side, but it's also letting this possession draw it a touch longer. Shot, save for Rogers. And now Lynchburg has to work quickly. Still playing a player up after a long drawn-out possession for the Spartans. A lot of that 2-minute penalty time has been eaten up. And it is now even between the two teams. So York gets through the 2-minute penalty period unscathed, still ahead by 4. Lynchburg with a chance to change it at Sawville, sophomore. Perryville, Virginia. Lost it. Turnover generated by Nasina Bertram. Take another look. The defensive stop for York. Bertram poked it away. It was the first to the ground ball before taking contact. Threw her back, coming from Sawville. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Chalowinski couldn't handle the pass. Sullivan trying to pick it up, but Chalowinski gets it right back. Chalowinski evades Santora. Kicks it off to Ward. Flung back out to Ledovsky. There's about a 50-second difference between shot and game clock, so York will need to get a shot off to avoid turnover on the possession. Also a chance to double up the Hornets. The score here. In out of the stick of, I believe, Blanchard. Lynchburg only had it for a moment before sending it across the far sideline. And now the new shot clock put on, it becomes useless. We have less than a minute to go in the first half. Big possession here for the Hornets, looking to keep it at 9-5. Meanwhile, York with a complete opposite goal in mind. Going to double up Lynchburg and carry that momentum into the second half of play and into the locker room before that. There's a late goal just before the end of the first quarter for York. The Spartans hoping history can repeat itself here in the second. Ward is about to make a pass just in front of the net. Looking for Curlin, but looked like she was going to make the pass. She lost control. Now it's Curlin. Picked up by 2 defenders. Foul on the play goes against Lynchburg. Curlin with the free possession, or free position. Shot denied by Rogers. Ball still live on the turf. Picked up by Sawville, and the final seconds of the first half tick off the clock, and that will bring a close to the first 30 minutes of play. York comes up empty on the final possession of the first half, but maintain a 9-5 lead as we head to the break. We'll step aside and come back, talk about the stats from the first 30 minutes of action as you're watching the Hornets and the Spartans on LHSN.
Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one. Without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field, the site for a battle between number 16 York and Lynchburg Hornets, playing at home, looking for the upset bid against the Spartans. Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. TJ Wingert here with you. We'll show you some of the stats and figures from the first 30 minutes of play. And as the score might suggest, the stats back it up. It was a game in the first half, especially as it got further and further along, that York started to find their momentum and found their rhythm overall and started to pull away from Lynchburg, specifically in that shots category, shots on goal. A really nice spot if you're a Spartans fan. Strong edge over Lynchburg in that category, something you don't see on your screen. Free position shots, York 1 for 3, Lynchburg 2 for 3. And also want to talk about the saves made for the Spartans in the first half. Meanwhile, 8 made by Lynchburg, and those respective numbers are going to each team's keeper. No team saves in the mix. And ground ball turnovers, we talked about that throughout the first half, and that, again, just leads into the edge that York has had in regards to controlling possession, living in the attacking third, and that's something we saw a lot of in the first half, and if you're a Spartans fan, you want to see more of it in the second half. Meanwhile, for Lynchburg, I know that's point of emphasis for Coach Reed. Get possession on our side, generate some shots. We got to even out that shots total to have a chance at the upset. We're going to step aside, come back, show you some of the highlights from the first half of action. We'll talk about some of the individual numbers from the first 30 minutes of play. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Lynchburg and York on LHSN.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field. Lynchburg playing host to the number 16 team in the country, the York Spartans. York out in front through 30 minutes, 9-5. We're going to take this opportunity to show you some of the highlights from that first half of action. It was a really exciting first half, and the first quarter in specific, 5-4, if you missed any of first 15. And then the second quarter, really strong showing for York, taking the second set of 15, 4-1. Let's run you down through some of the individual stats. In the first half, Riley DeFury allows 5 goals, picks up 4 saves on 12 shots faced. It's a save percentage at 44.4%. On the other side, Patricia Rogers allows 9 goals, has 8 saves. That's a save percentage at 47.1%. And for the goal scoring, 4 today for Kirsten Blanchard, 3 for Chloe McDonald, and 1 for Madison Curlin, as well as Logan Ward. That's for York. On the other side, Lynchburg, leading scorer is Nikki Santor with 2 goals. Leah Dumas has a goal and an assist today on 3 shots. Mia Sullivan has found the back of the net once, as has Peyton Sawville. So those are some of the individual metrics to this point in the game, and we'll also talk about some adjustment as we are getting set for the second half, and alluded to it a little bit in our first segment. For York, this is a lazy answer, but more the same, especially as this game has gone on. You feel like this team has just gotten better and better. 1 with passing, 2 with controlling possession, and 3 with finishing shots. And even in the second quarter, we started to see the free position shots get added into the mix. They had none through the first 15 minutes of play per the live stats. And meanwhile, on the other side for Lynchburg, it's about evening up that shots category. Now, I know that one stat isn't necessarily end-all, be-all, but it is one that is a strong indicator for who had possession, who was taking shots. And 27-10 is a little one-sided. And for Lynchburg, it's about winning those draw controls, getting possession. We've also seen a handful of times in that first half where Lynchburg would maybe get a stop, pick up a ground ball, but it would only be for a couple moments. It's about having those stops lead into something, turning defense into offense, just like any other sport. That's what Lynchburg's hoping to see more of here in the second half. King opposite McDonald. And we are now underway in the third quarter and the second half overall. Ground ball picked up by Matthias. Wasting no time. Shot deflected away by Rogers. Flung up into the Lynchburg sky. Ground ball picked up by King. King evades the first defender. Then some contact coming from Sally Arthur. That's who the call will go against. Hornets maintain possession. Sun starts to set over Schellenberger Field. Cascading shadows working left to right, and that is one of the, you could say, built-in advantages that Lynchburg teams have playing on Schellenberger Field. Second half, opposing keepers have to work with the sun directly in their eyes, and that goes for soccer, men's, women's lacrosse, field hockey, all of them alike. Some contact, and play does come to a halt. Take another look. Look like a collection of players going hard. Santora there for Lynchburg. And it does look like Riley Roeder is okay. Player for the Spartans that seemingly caught the worst of that play. But with Roeder staying out there, the senior from Pennsylvania, been an integral part of the back line that has looked really good today for the Spartans. Only allowed 1 goal in the second quarter. Looking to continue that success. Now into the second half. Nice deke for Christensen. After the whistle's blown, restart for York. Curland. Out towards the near side. Chalowinski in front of King. Tries to break left. Takes screen right for McDonald. Then gets the handoff. Go to Nielsen. Excuse me. That's still Tori King. There's the defender. After the switch, it was Daniel switching on to Chalowinski. Pass rolls all the way out towards the blue line. Matthias. Got to gobble up the ground ball. The seam for McDonald. Lost control. Picked up by Satterfield. Looking for Dumas. Pass goes wayward and across the near sideline. And once again, that is more of what I was trying to allude to a moment ago. Having these stops turn into something more than just ground ball pickup and 1 pass. It needs to become 1 pass to 2, getting across midfield and begin your offensive set in the attacking third. And that's just something that's become more and more seldomly seen as this game's gone on for Lynchburg. And if the Hornets want to overcome the 4-goal deficit and pull together a big comeback against a ranked opponent, those are the types of differences Lynchburg's going to have to make throughout the rest of this game. Spin move for Arthur, shot wide right. And Rogers start up the Lynchburg opportunity. Micah Slacum. Taking herself across midfield. Now with Sullivan. Over to Daniel. Dumas kicks to Santor. A couple players behind the net right now for Lynchburg. Perkins had it for a moment. Next to her was Dara Gregory, who's a name we have not called out a whole lot today. Gregory put together a really nice showing last week against Southern Virginia. Not the most unbelievable box score numbers, but what she did as pseudo quarterback, seeing the field, operating from behind the net, finding cutters. Gregory was really, really impactful last week against the Knights. Foul on the play goes against York. Free position for the Hornets. Santora scored on one earlier today. Whistle blown. Santora hit the back of the net. It looks like we'll do it one more time. Santora in front of DeFury. And after being forced to reset, Santora misses wide left, and that is an unfortunate break for the Hornets. Possession does stay with Lynchburg for a moment. Out of the stick of Perkins, DeFury there to pick it up. And quickly gets it out to Brighton. So an unfortunate sequence there. Takes away what would have been the first goal for Lynchburg since midway through the second. The first goal for Lynchburg, since midway through the second. But instead, we stay at a 9-5 score. Breaking left, testing Rogers, shot from Kurland. Results in a save for the freshman. As the loose ball matriculates all the way to the far side, it was picked up by Matthias. Blanchard looking for help. Has in the form of Kurland. Found her fourth goal earlier today. Pass intended for Blanchard, broken up by Knight. Play stops. 27 seconds on the shot clock. Down under 10 minutes to go here in the third. Kurland on the far side, kicks it over to Blanchard. Blanchard had Matthias instead. Taking the shot, it's kicked over to Ward. And another foul on the play going against Lynchburg. Once again, it's Kurland with possession. Didn't take the shot a moment ago. That came from a little further out this time. Kurland takes on Rogers. Has the shot go off the side of the post, I believe. But York stays with it, gets the second chance opportunity, and buries it home. Spartans double up Lynchburg, now up 10-5. And you look at the last minute and a half, game time to 2 minutes. Lynchburg has Santora on a free position, and they have to reset. A goal taken away, or what would have been a goal becomes a miss. And on the other side, Logan Ward scores for the second time this afternoon, and the second time on the season. 5-goal difference. See the sideline. Coach Jen Mustin happy with what she's seen today. First all-time meeting between these two sides. After a close first quarter, York has been the team in the driver's seat. It was 5-4 at the end of 15 minutes. Since then, 5-1 advantage in the favor of the Spartans. Henderson and McDonald. Draw control win for York. Picked up by Blanchard. Closest defender is Knight. Ward, who just scored a moment ago, marked up by Slacum. Screen set. Shot taken. Blanchard misses wide. Hewitt to start up on the second chance. Takes the rip herself. Rogers rises up to the occasion, and pun intended there. Gets the shot, or gets the save against the shot. Trying to go high right 90 was Hewitt. Rogers having none of it. If you're a Lynchburg fan, you're hoping that defensive stop turns into offensive production, and you can build some momentum from there. Where one keeper makes a nice play, DeFury responds with one of her own. Save number 5 of the day, make that 6 on the afternoon for DeFury. Had 11 in the win against Washington. Then 10 in the loss against Franklin and Marshall. Pass goes to Tiffany Lee. Sends it back out to Blanchard. Blanchard picked up by 2 defenders and absorbs the contact from Knight. And official reaching for a card. It will be a 2-minute penalty going against Lynchburg. Take a look at the hit from Knight, and a little bit of a brush by from Sawville. It looks like Sawville's actually going to be the player given the card. So a player up chance for York. Already ahead by 5. Lynchburg had a player up opportunity in the first half. Couldn't take advantage of the opportunity. It was a 2-minute penalty, and 90 seconds of it were eaten up by the Spartans on the offensive side. Because of that, work likely make good on this look. Lynchburg gets possession. Look at across midfield and not be any rush thereafter. Nice head fake. Chalowinski buries it. Whistles were blown, but the goal will stand. Chalowinski, preseason midfielder of the year. Hits the back of the net for the first time today. Has goal number 4 on the season. When you're playing a player up, there's only so much space the defense can occupy, and after a nice deke, Chalowinski got past Satterfield and did the rest to make it 11-5. Timeout called by Coach Reed. We'll take a quick break and come back with more as you're watching the Spartans and the Hornets on LHSN.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here. And I've learned that over my 4 years is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone helping them achieve their first goal of, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure. So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
Back in Lynchburg, Virginia, Hornets call the timeout as they trail by 6 now with 6:40 to play in quarter number 3 against the number 16 ranked York Spartans, looking to avenge their loss against Franklin and Marshall and improve to 2-1. Lynchburg on the other side looking to stay unbeaten on the season. Entered today's contest 3-0 on the year, 1-0 in conference play due to a forfeit from Eastern Mennonite. But today becomes the toughest challenge that Lynchburg has faced. The prior wins for the Hornets were against Averett and Southern Virginia. Today, against a ranked foe, York has certainly lived up to that billing been really sound, especially after that close first quarter where it was 5-4. Since then, it's been a 6-1 run for the Spartans between the second and what we've seen so far of the third quarter. And thus the timeout called by Coach Bruce Reed. We're going to find some adjustments and also stalwart the momentum that is on the side of the Spartans. Chloe McDonald and Nikki Santora at midfield. First time seeing Santora take the draw control for Lynchburg. But another DC won by York. Amy Bryden, first team all-conference last year, finds Tiffany Lee. I mentioned earlier today that Lee, a transfer from Mount Olive. 25 games played with the Trojans, 18 starts. In 2019, third team all-conference member. This year becomes her first season playing with the Spartans and Coach Jen Mustin. Hewitt sends it back out. Chalowinski just had the last goal for the Spartans. Similar move. No room to work with for Chalowinski, so instead, sent back out to McDonald. Defended by Dumas. Whistles on the play. Set up a free position for York. Stepping up. It'll be McDonald. 3 goals today for the senior from Maryland. Make it 4. 1-on-1. McDonald gets the best against Rogers and makes it a 12-5 contest. 11th goal of the season for McDonald. See, that first step is so quick, and Lynchburg defenders having to play catch-up from that point onward.
Goal number 15, Chloe McDonald.
5:37 to go in the third quarter. In the shots column, Spartans' advantage has grown to 21. How about 36 shots today for York to 15 for Lynchburg? And a break in the action as Patricia Rogers shaken up on the play. Julia Broughton heads out from the sideline. Junior from Glen Allen, Virginia. Has not played in a game yet this year. And Rogers being checked on by the athletic trainers. Timeout called by Coach Jen Mustin. So we will step aside one more time and come back with more as you're watching Lynchburg and York on LHSN.
Never think that your donation is in vain because you're helping out.
Patricia Rogers back up on her feet with some assistance walking towards the sideline. Hopefully all was well for the freshman standout. 6.5 goal against average before today's game against York. Rogers has faced 36 shots today. 12 goals allowed to 13 saves, so that's a percentage north of 50%. Rogers has, a whole lot coming her direction, held her own. Been a big part of by the deficit just at 7. As York has applied plenty of pressure against both Rogerton and Lynchburg defense as a unit. Julia Broughton, the new player between the posts. First game played of the season for the junior, hailing from Glen Allen, Virginia. Talking more about Julia Broughton. 16 starts last season. Save percentage at 33.8%. Goal against average at 12.7. It's a draw control win for Lynchburg. Looking to rally around Rogers. Mount a comeback. Just over 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Perkins to Daniel. Steps up from behind the net. Met by Christina Vandelis. Whistle on the play sets up a free position, but coming from quite the awkward angle, so wouldn't anticipate a shot coming from Daniel here. Instead, flung out to King. Now with Santor, and Lynchburg will continue to work it around towards the near side. Daniel sends it towards DeFury. Another save made by the senior. 7th on the day. Versus the 5 goals allowed. Save percentage at a good place for DeFury. Up and over 55% now. Wrapping around from behind the net. Off-sky. Picked up by Slacum. Pass goes to McDonald. Leaves the shot wide right. Hewitt to pick it up and again the second chance for York. Lee tracks right. Will take the shot. Goes off the stick of Broughton. Again, it's going to stay with the Spartans. Clock goes from 35 seconds to 60 on the clock. Shot clock, that is. Gigi Hewitt, nice move to evade Satterfield, and the finish going top shelf against Broughton to make it 13-5. Spartans out in front. First goal of the day for Gigi Hewitt, her second on the season. The freshman from Massachusetts pushes the lead to 8. And a lot of smiles on that York sideline. You see Coach Mustin. So after the first quarter, the lead, or the run, I should say, if you want to count the second quarter and what we've seen in the third as a quote-unquote run, 8-1 during that time frame. Advantage Spartans. Lynchburg still looking for an answer to slow down what's been a consistent offensive push from the Spartans and looking for offensive success in their own right. Possession once again back with the Spartans. Carrying Forden is Bryden. Only from Westminster, Maryland. Getting through traffic, Riley Roeder gets the stick. And due to the contact, free position. Straight on against the posts, and the keeper Broughton. Roeder will take the shot. Buries it home to make it 14-5. First goal of the day and of the season for Riley Roeder. Now a 14-5 contest. Take another look. Roeder goes top right corner, and on those free positions, after going the entire first quarter without a free position shot, York has made good on their chances since. You see on the sideline, that's Patricia Rogers getting some water. Saw her exit a little bit ago for Lynchburg. To continue my point, Spartans 3 for 6 on those free position shots, and again, did not have any in the first quarter. Henderson versus McDonald. Draw control win for Lynchburg. Knight ahead for Perkins. Had a goal and assist last week against Southern Virginia, but more quiet so far today. Overall, we just haven't gotten to see a whole lot of Lynchburg in the offensive third after the first quarter. Sawville tracking right, picked up by a pair of defenders. Then Della steps up, applies some pressure, pass goes to Perkins, shot misses up over the top post and goes out of play. A little more than 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Shot for Lynchburg, their 17th of the day, compared to 40 so far for the Spartans. Overall, a nice offensive sequence, and in the face of pressure, really nice play for Salvo to find Perkins. Good look. One of those things where love to see that shot hit the back of the net, but it's a numbers game in a lot of ways, and we've seen a whole lot of shots coming for York. On another one, turning into goal number 15 of the day for the Spartans. York ahead by 10. Here's the most recent score one more time. McDonald was looking to dish it away, but instead elects to take it herself. Senior had 7 goals entering today's play. How about 5 this afternoon? 12 on the season already. Our Spartans player to watch certainly put together a worthy resume and has lived up to that billing so far today. 15-5, 1 minute to go in the third quarter. McDonald just checked out, so for the first time today, we'll see a different player at midfield for the Spartans. Blanchard, opposite of Elise Henderson. We also have keeper warming up on the sideline for York. It's Bella Garbo. New Jersey native might be checking in. See some action in the fourth quarter. York back in the attacking third. Klugel dishes to Blanchard. Shot hits the post, ricochets back out. Picked up by Kurland. 10 seconds to go till we reach the fourth. Blanchard through lots of traffic, absorbed some contact. And buzzer sounds. That will bring a close to quarter number 3 between York and Lynchburg. Spartans in the driver's seat up 15-5. Here's another look at the contact that marks the close of quarter number 3. We'll step aside and come back with the final stanza between Lynchburg and York on LHSN.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Welcome back to Schellenberger Field, getting set for the final 15 minutes of play between Lynchburg and York. Coach Bruce Reed looking to rally the troops as the Hornets down by double digits. And after the first quarter, this game has not been kind to Lynchburg. Outscored 10-1 after the first 15 minutes of play. And a ton of credit has to go to this York squad. First all-time meeting between these two teams, and the Spartans certainly came ready to play. And after the first quarter, made some great adjustments, and ultimately where the difference has been is in regards to draw controls as well as ground balls. 13 draw control wins for the Spartans to 8 for Lynchburg, and 21 ground balls picked up for the Spartans to 13 for the Hornets. And something you heard me talk about a lot today is possession, and that's the name of the game. And even going back to the point I started to make towards the end of the third, it was a good shot created by Peyton Sawville, and Michelle Perkins let it fly. Unable to convert, but it's one of those chances where you get that type of opportunity over and over and over again. It's a numbers game. Eventually it's going to lead to a score. But unfortunately for Lynchburg, if you're a Hornets fan watching, shots have been few and far between. I mean, case in point, draw control to start the fourth, won by York, and Kirsten Blanchard quickly worked into the attacking third. Foul on the play halts her progress. The Spartans already up by 10. Chance to push the ledger a little wider. 42-17 shots advantage for York. Now, while I'm giving credit for the Spartans, I mean, this is the exact reason why Lynchburg put this game on their schedule. Especially considering these two teams have never played against one another, so it's not like there's familiarity. Coaches coming from similar backgrounds and working with the same schools or same conferences or anything like that. Instead, this just becomes a chance for Lynchburg to take on a team that's in and around the same area regionally and say, hey, we saw 4 ranked opponents in a row in the early goings of last season, and it gave us a good chance to see who we are. It gives you a good barometer, and that's what we're seeing today for Lynchburg, where this team can get better, which I know today can be a tough pill to swallow if you're a Lynchburg fan, but think about if you don't play this game and you don't have that same opportunity to see where you can improve, what it might cost you in the long run. Santora works it back to the center of the turf. Stops, tries to spin left. Shot clock at 43. It's going to be a foul on the play, and it goes against York. Chance for Lynchburg to cut the deficit to single digits. Leah Dumas lets it rip, and stop made by the new keeper for York, Bella Garabo. So we're warming up on the sideline towards the end of the third. Garabo gets her first save of the contest. And the Spartans back the offensive portion of the field already. Pass goes wayward, so the opportunity doesn't last long for the Spartans. Lynchburg with a chance to get back in the offensive third. Meredith Bornholt controlling for a moment. Then from Broughton ahead to Knight. See running up the far sideline. Tempo slows quite a bit. Sullivan over to Daniel. Daniel back for Dumas now with Santora. Lots of traffic. Number of screens set for Santora. Takes the shot. Short hopped in front of Garabo. Another save made by the junior. from Hillsdale, New Jersey. Talking about Nikki Santora, younger sibling to CJ Santora, former player and coach for Lynchburg men's lacrosse. It's obviously a pretty clear connection to be made there. Santora currently a grad student at the University of Lynchburg. The shot comes from Matthias. Hits off the stick of Broughton. Spartans stick with it. Pass goes to Lee. Finishes off the play with her first goal on the afternoon. The senior has her second on the season, and York now in front 17-5. Here's another look at most recent score. There's a nice feed, and Lee with a defender on her hip. Able to get the shot up and right in the face of Broughton. Obviously a tough place for the junior to come up with a save. Talking more about Santora, transfer from William Smith College, about 60 goals and 17 assists, and 3 Liberty League titles during her time at William Smith College. Has made plenty of impact since arriving on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. All right, 10 goals this year, had 40 last year. And is one of those go-to offensive threats for the Hornets, right there with Leah Dumas and Dara Gregory, just to name a few. York will work it around to the near side. Lee sends it to Hewitt. Hewitt for Sally Arthur. We saw a whole lot of Arthur in the first half as the quarterback, so to speak, this York offense. Just 2 goals, 1 assist so far this season. But it's been impactful nonetheless to see Arthur as a person you run the offense through and let her vision do a lot of the work. And even if she doesn't get the assist on the play, I implore all sports, lacrosse, soccer, you name it, embrace the hockey assist. Get 2 assists on 1 play. I think that's a good direction for a lot of sports to move into. I think then you'd see that assist total skyrocket forward for Arthur. Lynchburg with a good stop. Dumas with Lee behind her. Gets across the blue line. Lynchburg into the attacking third. From Daniel to Santora. Over to Perkins. Lots of contact from just in front of the net. Less than 9 minutes to play between the two sides. Free position on the way for Perkins. Take another look at the contact. Perkins takes the shot, misses wide left. And the Spartans get back to work on the offensive side. Blanchard will check out and head to the sideline after 4 goals so far today. Now 9 on the year for Blanchard. You talk about the 1-2 punch that York has with her and McDonald. Top of what I've talked about, being impressed by Sally Arthur. Well, this team is going to be really scary, and I do not envy anybody in the MAC Commonwealth Conference or having York on your slate. That is going to be a tough contest, and give credit to Lynchburg. First quarter, really hard fought and statistically even in a number of different categories. Spartans made some good adjustments and have pulled away after that. Head by 12 right now. Nice turnover caused by Kaylin Satterfield. Bornholt draws the foul on the play, and we'll start up the possession for the Hornets now. Bornholt, freshman from Wyoming, Ohio. And this is see some playing time towards the tail end of this contest. Couldn't handle the pass. Gets it back. Closest defender being Ledovsky. Trying to get it to Dumas at midfield. Hits the turf. Loose ball. Kicked around. Ultimately gathered by Sullivan. Shot. Deflected away. It was Dara Gregory letting it fly. First time we've seen Gregory take a shot today. Lynchburg stays with it on the offensive side. King back to Daniel. Dish to Dumas, shot wide left. As this game's gone on, the shot on goal percentage has started to dip as well for Lynchburg. Not by a whole lot, but this one's on frame. Nice save made by Garabo. And that's a bit of bad luck there for Lynchburg, as I'm talking about. Having a hard time getting shots on cage. You get one on frame, and then nice save made by Garabo. But all told, 22 shots, 16 of which have been on goal for Lynchburg. So certainly a good percentage throughout today. But as it's gone on, it's certainly dipped a little bit lower and lower. I think that's, again, a testament to the Spartans, forcing shots to come further and further away from the post. Give and go between Lee and Klugel. Lee scored earlier today, her second on the season. Looking for her second on the afternoon. Deflected away by Broughton. Hard-fought battle between Knight and Klugel. Klugel picks up the ground ball. A little more than 5 minutes to play till the conclusion. Lost. And picked up then by Lynchburg. Lynchburg having to work quick. Shot misses tall. That comes from Daniel. Santora spins left. We're going to split the difference between the two defenders in her face. Now becomes a free position. Santora has scored twice today, looking for the hat trick. They'll stop the clock, 4:14 to go until the conclusion, and referees will talk it over, and they'll actually reset the game clock. Put about 10 seconds back on. Now we're set for Santora. Santora takes the shot. And it looked like Garabo might have initially come up with the save, but ultimately shot rolls through and makes it 17-6. Santora scored at least once in every game last year, and she's got another hat trick. She scored 3 times against Averett, 5 goals against Southern Virginia, and now 3 this afternoon. There is the free position score one more time coming from Santora, her 11th on the season, and Santora readies at midfield. Wants to get the draw control underway quickly. Santora opposite of Klugel. Clock continues to tick away as we work up by more than 10, less than 3.5 to go. Whistles on the play. Possession is awarded to York. Klugel brings it to the near side. Santora, we're going to create the turnover. Hornets kicking up the pressure. Defensive side. Perkins with a push. Knocks Madison Hamilton down to the turf. And again, that just signals where we are in this contest. Lynchburg, similar to where you are late in a basketball game, playing full court press, trying to generate turnovers and steals, and looks the other way. The Hornets have had to bump up the aggressiveness and tenacity, so to speak, a little bit. especially with the running clock. It's Natalie Neiman working against Earth Bornholt. Now Lee. A nice find. Matthias was open. Couldn't handle the pass. Empty possession. Has Lynchburg. 3-on-3 the other way. Santora initially working right. Has Sullivan backpedaling. Now it's with Gregory. Flung back out to Daniel, and despite quick tempo, Lynchburg forced to slow down and reset. Dumas fields some pressure on the play and fields some contact at that point. And checking out the guilty party on that play is number 18, Riley Long. So Long heads to the sideline. Penalty goes against the Spartans, and it'll last the duration of the rest of this game. Free position for Dumas. And before Dumas gets into motion, whistle's blown. And continued conversation and some voiced opinions from the sideline before play gets back underway. And we'll have the conversation come to a close. Whistle blown. Dumas, short hop on the shot in front of Garabo, and it skips high and wide of the post. A warning given to Lynchburg. As Garabo, or excuse me, Alden McNulty, freshman from Vienna, Virginia, to start up the possession for York. At this point in the game, shot clock has more time on it than the game clock, so you can presume the Spartans will try to milk away the final 53 seconds. And York will elevate to 2-1 on the season and get back to the winning column after falling short against Franklin and Marshall. It's the number 5 team in the country, lost by 6. Today certainly a good bounce back showing for York. Next up for the Spartans, they'll be at Roanoke on the 13th, taking on the Maroons at noon. And then after that, contest against Gettysburg at home, and then hitting the road to travel to Haverford. Shot score, Teresa Matthias, her first on the day and first on the season. As the clock continues to roll, the senior makes it 18-6, and Lynchburg, continue my points. We show you the goal one more time. The Hornets will suffer their first loss on the season. And we'll now sit at 3-1 on the year, still 1-0 in conference play, and it sets up the next game for Lynchburg, being played down in Haines City, Florida. They'll take on Denison on Monday the 14th, then Franklin and Marshall on Wednesday the 16th, which we noted Franklin and Marshall, the number 5 team in the country, when they took on York. We'll keep an eye on where they might be when Lynchburg takes on Franklin and Marshall on Wednesday the 16th. Final score, 18-6. York takes down Lynchburg and gives the Hornets their first loss on their season and just their 3rd home loss over the last season plus. Spartans are now 2-1. Hornets now 3-1 on the season. First all-time meeting between these two sides goes the way of the Spartans. That'll do it for us at Schellenberger Field. I'd like to give a shout out to our director, Sam Rice, and the rest of our fantastic LHSN production crew. Until next time, my name is TJ Wingard, and we are signing off.